husband. So, Trumper, do you do anything during the feast, or do you just your wife?
I probably eat with my wife, I
Yeah,
guess.
she's come all this way to see you, all the way from there. Yeah. All right.
Hearing that makes me actually look at Lady Ella, my wife, a little bit more closely. I'm like, wow, she actually has an appearance 16. I really take her for granted
Yeah.
because she's just a cook to me. I
She's
love her for her.
fantastically glorious.
I love her for her food.
Yeah, but she likes you for you, not because. Man, we just went back to the '90s again. Yeah. Wicked. All right. Anything else? Think we're good. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's okay if you have something else, but I think we've just about partied out for this one.
I think so.
This is good fun.
Okay. In the spring, there is a double wedding at Tintagel the next day. Much of the nobility attends, all with their retinue. It is a lavish and gala affair, with no expenses spared to make it memorable. Uther gives away Morgause and Elaine himself. King Lot married Morgause, and King Nentres marries Elaine. Queen Igraine is very pregnant and officially happy for her daughters. Afterwards, the king and their retinues go home, and the knights back to their routines. Each of you gains 50 glory for attending this double wedding. You are together riding patrol on the lands of Terrabil in the Bodmin Moor. Oh, wow. Apparently, normally you would have other knights with you, but Trumpyard is so high-ranking that there are no other knights with you. He has placed his officer over your patrol, and it's just the four of you.
Oh, well.
It is slightly chilly, but not unpleasant, and foggy. Nothing untoward occurs during your patrol until one morning, 3 days in, when you are met by Merlin. He speaks tersely as usual. "Greetings, good knights. You have guarded me before. I need your services again." He strikes his staff upon the ground and says, "Follow me, follow me."
Really? You've worked for Merlin before?
Yeah, when you say that, he literally puts a hand in your face and just is like, "Follow me, follow me," and keeps walking.
Well, we're Sir Robert and Aurelius are both kind of used to this, and
Yeah.
we're just like, all right, kind of wheel.
Let's go with it. He's like, yes, Merlin. How we may be serving?
One time is not enough to get used to.
Yeah.
So, did you ask how may we serve you?
Yeah.
He's like, "No questions, no comments, just come with me. Big things happening."
Robert rolls his eyes at Aurelius. He's like, yeah, we know how this goes.
One time.
Give you a sort of knowing.
Okay. Merlin leads you through the woods for a couple of trails that you've never seen before, even though you just patrolled this yesterday afternoon. These are deer trails, and eventually you reach what's barely usable for a mounted man. At one point, Merlin stops, motioning for silence and listening intently. He turns and says, "Leave your squires here. I need you to wait here as well. I have important business, and when I return, I will probably need protection. I'm counting on you to do your duty to the king and to Britain. Will you wait here?"
If that is what you require,
Robert.
then we shall.
Yeah.
Very well.
So he says, "Dismiss your squires. Send them back home. You won't need them."
All right.
Dismiss.
I do so.
All right, Jeff. I suppose you're to head home.
So
Robert
I think
dismisses
Jeff's
his
like,
squire.
"Oh my goodness. So Sasha, was that Merlin?
I believe it was. Yes,
You know Merlin?
I've heard of him. Yes.
Why haven't you killed him yet? He's the son of a devil, he is."
Jeff, you're one of those.
"What do you mean, one of them? You mean a Christian?
It doesn't matter who he's the son of. I mean,
Unless he's the son of the devil."
by rumors alone.
He's just like,
No, off with you. Get back home.
mess with this shit, not I. I'll go home right now. All right, can you guys make are you ready for it? Awareness check. Damn.
Oh.
Dun dun dun. Dun,
Oh, Robert's
dun,
awesome
dun,
at awareness.
dun.
Robert will kill awareness.
Dun, dun.
Ah, yeah.
Oh, Aurelius actually
Sasha,
succeeded
why
on
don't
this
you
one.
Sasha's-
mark a check mark?
Oh,
and
no.
Yeah.
just fucking
Sasha's
crit
extra aware because Sasha's in a deer trail.
it? Yeah.
Looking around crazy
Looking around for the food. Oh, actually, no, for the deer. Oh.
for the deer.
Aurelius, after some time you hear a distant noise as if men are on horseback. Sasha, in particular, you hear men cursing, trying to ride through fog trees and difficult terrain. Moments after the cursing, Merlin rushes into the clearing where you're waiting. He's walking now, he's still moving very quickly as if he's been running. He doesn't appear to be troubled or perturbed, but with long strides, heads over there and says, delay them. Continues walking past you,
What?
moving
Robert's
into the
about
trees on
to
the
delay
far
him.
side of the courtyard. Make another series of awareness checks.
Robert makes it.
Oh. Aurelius.
Wow.
succeeds
Aurelius
again.
Are you
makes
making
it.
it this time?
Sasha makes it. Everyone makes it.
You're missing one.
Nope.
Nope.
Oh.
Okay, everyone with Trumpier notices that Merlin is carrying something. What will you do? Will you prepare for combat? The noise is coming closer. You hear the
Yeah.
clank of
Yes.
armor, the neigh of horses, and the shouts of men
Yes.
that can be
Yes.
heard clearly now.
You're sure
Yep.
that this Merlin fellow is trustworthy? I have my sword out.
It's
Ready.
Merlin. How dare you ask such a question? It's Merlin.
He has served
All
our
right.
Lord faithfully in the past. He has healed our wounds. We owe him a great debt of gratitude.
I've only heard him by name by my nephew.
Robert
I'll
draws the
stand.
sword.
I'll stand. I'll be on my horse ready though.
Yeah.
Best way to get rid of our
Aurelius
horses
will be
again.
on his horse and ready.
I feel like
Yeah.
some of this dialogue would be cut, and here's why. Because someone asks, do you think Merlin is trustworthy? And you guys are about to be like, yes, of course he's trustworthy. And you hear someone shout, Merlin, come back here, you traitor! The clearing is not large, and a lance charge would hurl you through the trees to the far side, almost certainly harming your steeds.
So we don't then. Robert
Do you
doesn't
prepare
launch it.
for a lance charge, or do you simply hold your ground on horse or on foot?
We hold our
Hold
ground,
ground on
with
horse.
and with sword, yeah.
Mhm.
Horse and sword.
I don't want to lose another horse though. No, I'll just hold my ground with the rest of them.
All right.
I
A
guess.
band of well-accounted knights, all in a particular set of colors, struggle from the woods on the far side. They are armed, swords in hand, and look around. Merlin! They shout. What do you do?
Well, Trumpet's the leader of our party, actually, so maybe you should say something. But I'm gonna try and can I heraldry or recognize them?
Yeah, heraldry is going to be the one you're getting. Recognize will be to identify a specific person in the party.
Okay,
Nope.
I'm gonna first roll heraldry, and I got heraldry.
Robert, you recognize that these are King Uther's colors. There.
Ooh, can I recognize to see
Yes, you can.
if so? I forget his name, but the one that want to recruit Trumpet, right? Is there
What?
one of them wanted to recruit Trumpet into the King's Guard?
Yes, it's
Yes,
Sir
yeah.
Brastius, Uther's
Yeah.
bodyguard.
Okay, is he there?
Yes, he is.
Oh. So Robert's just like, there's a King's Guard. It's Brastius.
Brastius approaches and says, "You recognize me, Sir Robert.
So Robert says, yes, Brastius.
Step aside. I am chasing a fugitive through these woods. The wizard Merlin has stolen the king's child."
Robert suddenly looks very confused and shocked, and he's just like, he did see Merlin. I did see Merlin with something in his arms, though. I might have been a baby, but it made
Say
no
again,
noise.
Sir Robert. Step aside, or I shall strike you down.
You said this man was trustworthy, did you not?
Robert's very confused right now. He looks to his companions. What do you guys think?
Sasha barely knows the man. He's
Trumpet, you're the leader, man. You like Sebrastis as well. Trumpet, is he there?
Yes, but I don't know either. But at this moment, I'm more willing to trust the king's guard.
I don't
What's your order
know.
for us,
I
man?
trust. I must say, I trust Merlin more.
Stand down for now.
Robert will follow the command.
So,
Stand up.
yeah, I mean, like, Brastus is literally listening to you guys. And when the rest of you are standing down, and then Aurelius is like, I trust Merlin, Brastus is like, I will not forget this, Sir Aurelius. And charges past you and is like, for the king! And the rest of his men, like, in clanking plate armor, are, like, chasing after Merlin, and they're like,
Robert looks to Aurelius and says, perhaps we should follow them.
We
I
shall
follow
think
with them.
follow them, men.
Okay.
I'm curious to how this resolves.
After a few minutes, there's no trace of Merlin. The fog disappears. You're on a familiar trail that you don't remember being on before. And Brastius turns with his sword pointed towards you, Trumpet, and says, Merlin has kidnapped the king's own infant son, you idiot. And you and your band delay me with small talk? The king will hear of this. Now, where did Merlin go?
We have no idea, but we did not mean to delay you. We were simply confused as Merlin assigned us a task to protect him. And now we cannot know who to trust. We must talk to the king and see what Merlin. We need to know what Merlin has kidnapped the child of the king, you say?
Indeed.
What motive could he who has helped our king so many times in the past have for this?
Has he, though? Has he? Or has he always been a traitor?
Perhaps he has always been serving his own purposes, but he did help the king acquire the sword Excalibur.
When you say that, he looks pretty troubled. He's like, yes, he did help the king acquire that sword. Perhaps it was all a ruse to steal the child.
Who knows whose motives Merlin is truly following?
They say that a sorcerer can do much with the blood of a king.
And the blood
Who
of a
says that?
prince?
So, yeah, like, while you guys are talking, you stumble into a clearing with more knights. There's, like, 4 knights standing on the far side of the clearing, and one of them is Sir Alain de Carline. And he says, out right there! In the name of Merlin, you shall not advance. What do you do?
I think Sir Brachius has the say
Okay.
this.
Brastius is like, yield yourselves, quickly. Merlin has stolen the king's child. He is a traitor. Sir Alain de Carline is like, oh. And he looks to his knights, and they have a discussion much like you guys had. And, you know, one of them's like, I don't know. I think we can probably trust Merlin. And then Sir Alain de Carline's like, no, of course we cannot trust him. He is the son of the devil.
What is with everybody calling him a son of the devil? Just to himself.
Brastius
Well,
and his knights
Aurelius
do
in
not find
particular.
Merlin. Instead, get lost in the woods, spend the night there. The royal household and other knights eventually find them. What do you do?
Go to see the king, I assume.
Okay.
Yeah.
Aurelius is
The best.
very disturbed by that mention of magic that might be wrought with the king's blood, and now he's sort of wondering, especially because he had that whole experience with the dark fae in the past.
Satanic night. Yeah, so when you guys go to see the king, Sir Brastius is there, and like dozens of knights. It's not normal for knights to be armed and armored within a castle, but when you try to see the king, like there are dozens of armored and armed knights, and all of them draw their swords on you, and Brastius is like, arrest them. They are traitors.
Robert looks at him and is like, what's wrong with you, you fool? How are we traitors?
Yeah, he's just like, surrender now, Sir Robert, and perhaps God will grant you some mercy.
So Robert's like, I do not need the gods to grant me mercy. I have done no wrong.
To clarify, who is this?
This is Brastius. This is a scene the next day in the castle. Apparently you went to Uther to speak on the matter, and you're being stopped by dozens of knights with weapons out who are telling you to surrender.
And Sir Robert is like going to be a little pissed. He's like, how dare you call me a traitor? I have done no wrong by the gods that I must ask for forgiveness.
Then you will be judged in a court of law by our king. I assure you, his judgment will be swift.
Robert says like,
So long as it is just, I will.
Robert's like, I shall always follow the king's judgment.
I have done no wrong, and I'm sure that.
May
you
we
will
at
find-
least know what Robert has done?
He says, Robert, all of you are to be arrested
What for?
for the crime of stealing the king's child.
You were there with us. You know we were not. We did no such thing.
When you say that, he turns away from you and says very loudly, he says, I know that not, sir. I know that not.
Robert looks to Trumpet. He's like, I thought he was your friend.
I know not this man. Seriously, I've never,
Oh, Trumpet, give him back. I know him.
shit.
I've never met him before. I don't know him.
It's true, he hasn't met him.
Oh, he hasn't?
Yeah, he hasn't.
Yes. No. I've never met this guy.
I thought he was trying to recruit you to the King's Guard. I don't know.
No,
he talked to someone
mentioned that
else.
he was going to, but he hasn't actually done it yet.
And you talked to
Oh.
someone else about that.
Okay.
Right. That's not an insult. That's an actual statement of truth. I know him.
Oh, darn it. I had the best reference if you had.
Yeah, I was just like, wow. All right, yeah. So it seems Robert will surrender his arms, Zek,
Yes.
and he will just be like, I shall
So-
seek the king's judgment.
Aurelius will do the same.
So, Sasha?
I surrender my armaments. I'm not going to create an unnecessary fight.
Alright, I
That's not-
think like
that's
the last person to surrender is Sir Trumpet. Do you surrender, sir?
Yes.
Yeah, so like, having heard of your reputation, they send like one knight to disarm everybody else. They send like 5 dudes surrounding you, and the lead one is like, do you surrender, sir? Layeth down your sword before you. Like, they're being super careful. It's basically like watching a group of cops doing an arrest.
I set
No.
down my sword.
Yeah. Okay. You should be worried for 2 reasons. Treason is a capital crime, and you could be executed for this.
Yep.
If you are lucky, you will merely be degraded from knight status and exiled to France. But regardless, your honor has been impugned. In fact, all of you lose 1 point of honor from your
What?
passion immediately.
What?
You're in the dangerous
that
position
sucks.
of being judged by a legitimate authority. If you don't continue to do everything honorably, you will lose more.
So, from what passion? From our honor passion?
Yep.
Yeah.
My honor's getting slaughtered, man. It's not a 13 now.
Ooh.
All normal court decisions are made by a presiding judge. In this case, Uther himself. It is entirely normal for the presiding judge to be swayed by personal friendship or obligation, political factors, or personal grudges. Beside Merlin himself, who is now thought a traitor, Brastius is Uther's most prominent advisor. And Uther is likely to do whatever Brastius wants. You are placed under house arrest in a comfortable, though small, cramped quarters together, the 4 of you. and are served food and drink 3 times a day. At some point, you are summoned to the king.
Will we have a chance to make our case?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Will we have a chance to make our case before
Oh,
to the
almost
king?
certainly. You're nobles.
Yeah, so this is going to be a lot of emotion and like favors to be in this.
Okay. So, do you answer
Definitely
the
doing
king's
the passion.
summons?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Sir Sasha?
Yeah.
You are led to a different, smaller room that is simply a table with 5 seats. You are met by Bishop Roger, who is Earl Roderick's confessor, who has been sent to help you with legal advice. The king is not there.
Okay.
So,
Bishop Robert's like, Sir Aurelius, I never expected to see you on that side of the table.
so Aurelius would like to do a passion roll for sort of orating and defending himself.
What passion would you like to use?
Honor, and given that I'm arguing
Honor
with the
will
church,
not help you here at all.
I mean, isn't that what is being impugned?
Yes. That's why you can't use it. No, at this point, no one trusts your honor. You have to prove it's worthy again.
How about my passion for my loyalty, and I also want to
Do you
use my.
have loyalty, Pendragon?
I do have I have loyalty, and then I have loyalty Pendragon, but I really don't want to use loyalty Pendragon.
Yeah, same here. I've got 8 in my loyalty Pendragon.
I don't think there's a real passion we can use here.
When push comes to shove, I'll use loyalty Pendragon, but
So, like, all of you are preparing to Super Saiyan up, and, like, you're like, all right, for the love of my... And Bishop Roger's like, sit down, sit down.
I didn't do it.
No need to get excited as knights do. I'm just here to help you. I'm on
All
your
right.
side. Earl Roderick said me.
So,
Before
I
we
guess-
get started, though, do you have anything you'd like to confess?
so
We
I'm
confess
going
that
to do a
us.
orate speaking with him.
All right, you start trying to orate, and he's like, cut it out. You don't
Okay.
need fancy
He's on our
speeches.
side.
I literally
So-
just need to know the truth from
So I will. So Aurelius will. Honored priest, I swear to you on my faith and my sincere hope of salvation in Lord Christ that all that I did this day, in the past day, was that while on a mission for the king, while patrolling, we ran across Merlin. He requested our assistance in guarding him in a matter, as far as we were aware, for ages he has been a loyal servant of the king in all matters, and almost his right-hand man. We naturally obeyed him in this course of action and followed him through the woods, at which point he left us for a time and then came back, and all we could see was that he was carrying some sort of package, some bundle, at which point he left and said to delay those pursuing him, at which point Sir Brastius broke into the clearing, and we were made aware of the depths of his treachery, but at that point it was too late.
Can you make a truthful roll real quick?
it's honesty, I
Honesty.
think. Yeah.
Honesty.
That's one of my few that I don't have really high.
Good, that's
Yeah, it's a
not good.
50-50, I think, right?
Can I do directed trade on that one?
Nope.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
You say exactly what you were gonna say, and Bishop Roger looks kind of troubled. He's like, so you did in some way help Merlin, delayed him for but a few moments, but it could have been enough to let him get away.
In no way did we attempt to delay them. We stood back.
Yes.
They could have pursued.
And plus, we weren't the only knights there.
Yes, well, I'll definitely be using that in your case.
We simply stood there and talked. We did not do anything to delay them. They delayed themselves, if anything.
Well, I mean, talking is enough to delay, admittedly.
Bishop Roger nods at that and says, yes, it is so.
If I have sinned and violated my oath to my lord through my actions,
Oh, Aurelius, cut the
I will-
rhetoric. You didn't sin.
Yeah, like you're like,
Oh, shut up.
Wow, that's an awesome scene. Like, literally, like, I imagine Trumpet's, like, slumped in a chair, just like, shut up, while you're talking. Yeah, so Bishop Roger leaves you at that point, and some servants come in and feed you in this room. They're obviously not supposed to talk to you, but they do seem like they have something they're bursting to say. If you could convince them to speak with an intrigue roll.
You seem to be
Robert-
holding something back.
Robert will try. It's gonna suck, but
Well, let's have the person who's good at it do first.
yeah.
Okay,
Woohoo.
yes, Sir Sasha.
Robert
Something
also
interesting.
tries.
There are no.
Skills.
You're only served by young men. It's just pages that come in. They send
Ah,
no
Sasha.
women or knights in to serve you, but they're willing to tell you that a dozen or so knights in 4 groups of 3 were all near where you were caught, and they were all also set up by Merlin, and are all under arrest for the same cause.
I don't know much about this Merlin person, Robert and Aurelius, but are you sure that was the same Merlin?
Only one such as he could have pulled off such a feat. I know not anyone else who has such magics.
I feel like if this was Babylon 5, someone would poke their head in the room and be like, "We are all Kosh." Here, real quick. It's a Babylon 5 reference.
Sadly,
Well,
Robert's
no.
like, yeah.
We are all
Robert
Kosh.
agrees. Yeah. He's just no. Sorry.
You're sent back to your cell for a time, and you meet with Bishop Roger 3 or 4 more times over the week. But then, one time, when the bishop is not present, there's a black-robed monk with a tonsure, which is that haircut that's like literally a band of hair over a bald dude. You know, the Friar Tuck cut.
Mm.
And he's like 6.5 feet tall and super built, even though he's wearing these loose black robes and an orange rope belt, and just gestures for you to sit down at the table. You can make a recognize roll to see if you know who this is.
Oh damn! Our roles got interchanged, Sasha.
Okay. Yes, you recognize this as Father Dewey. They call him the Waterman because at his monastery, monks are only allowed to drink water, no alcohol, no fruit of the vine. That's it. He's a very dark man, a very trying man, who believes in punishment and pain as a method of penance. And so Father Dewey, knocks on a door behind him, so he just reaches back and knocks on the door, and a young cleric walks in with some writing implements and begins what do they call it? Stenographing? He just records the conversation as he
Yeah.
speaks.
yeah,
says,
stenography.
Good
Stenography,
day,
yeah.
gentlemen. I am Father Dewey, and I wish to speak with you.
What can we do for you, honored father?
Yes.